Blighted Village, there's a lot of unique items and encounters. One of those items is the Book of Thay, and it reminds me of the book that's in Army of Darkness. I'm sure they drew inspiration from it from that. The Blighted Village is located just west of Emerald Grove, but if you haven't picked up the dog yet, which you can have come to your camp, he's just north of this. You can talk to him with either a potion or a spell. I think in the early access I brought the ball to him from the camp and got him to join the camp that way, but this time I used a potion that lets you talk to animals, but there's also spells that let you do that. And I found a few of those potions in the Emerald Grove Library hidden beneath the wolf statue. I've got another guide on that if you want to check that out as well. It's got a really good weapon in there as well called Sorrow that lets you pull enemies to you.
Keep moving, stranger. Quietly.
Just make sure you don't shout at the dead man to prove that he's dead, or it'll cause the dog to attack you. As soon as you enter the Blighted Village, you'll be confronted by a goblin guard, and you can persuade them to just back down and let you through. Lockpick this barn that is right beneath the guard to get access to a pretty nice uncommon sword. Make a trip up top to grab the key that's right behind the guard. And then if you back out this way past the sleeping, drunken goblin, there's another house behind him, and you can just avoid it, but it's got a pretty comical scene inside. It will cause both of them to attack you, and there's no way to defuse the situation. And the giant ogre woman is pretty strong and pretty tough. She's got a lot of hit points and does a lot of damage. There's nothing really that good in there, just a elixir of fire resistance and a simple toxin. Right outside the hut, there's a uncommon dagger that's stuck inside of a piece of meat, and you can pull it out with the correct dice roll.
Feast fit for an ogre. You notice a peculiar dagger protruding from the tough, leathery meat. The dagger glides smoothly out of the mystery meat.
Make your way back in, and sorry if this path is a little confusing, but this is just the route I took. And there's a bunch of goblins that are terrorizing a gnome on top of a windmill, and you can just persuade them to leave with the right dice roll checks. Make sure to not press the release brake lever unless you want to see them go flying. Once you release him, he says that you can have what's in his backpack, and there's nothing really that good in there. There's a bomb, but in the chest next to it is the real treasure, as there's a pair of rare boots in there that give you lightning charges when you dash. Lockpick this chest to get the haste helm, and it's a really nice helmet that grants you momentum for 3 turns at the start of combat. There's a lot of nice crafting items inside of this building. What I did was, once I collected them all, I ended up going through it and then back out through the sides to talk to these ogres. But we're going to want to end up coming back there after that. So you can persuade these ogres to, 1, not attack you, and 2, to join you in battle for either a price of 500 gold or for totally free. To get them to join you for free, it's a pretty high persuasion check of 20. It's pretty nice though. If you need them, you can just use the horn and they'll aid you in battle, which I haven't tried out yet. After that, head back into the house that we were just in with all the alchemy supplies. It's right next to the teleport. as I was looking on the map and I saw this icon that says search the cellar. I believe that notification icon popped up on the map once I read a book. It's easy to miss the cellar door as it's hidden pretty well. I just walked over it actually a few times. It was pointing to that specific spot, so eventually I just found it on the floor. It's right next to the window there. Inside the cellar, with a high enough perception which Shadowheart detected, there's a hidden lever. Move the box out of the way so you can pull the lever and it'll expose a neat little hidden passageway.
Action, not reaction.
Pick up a few nice scrolls on the way, and eventually all the way down at the end you'll encounter a magic mirror. A few persuasion checks and intimidating the mirror, threatening to smash him. It'll eventually let you through, and there's a lot of good things inside of there. One of them is the Book of Thay.
A well-guarded laboratory. What were they hiding down here?
This chest has got a nice 4 scrolls inside of there, which if you're capable of learning them, you could just read them for a certain cost and have them with you permanently. Don't forget to pick up the rare bracers here that give you a +2 bonus to armor, as long as you're not wearing any armor, which is good for magic casters. Behind the gate is the Book of Thay, and there is a trap on the floor that you have to disarm first. Then you have to lockpick the gate, and then you have to disarm another trap that's beneath the book as well. So you can choose to try to destroy the book, but as far as I know, there's no negative consequences behind it.
The book is locked tight with no visible keyhole, only an oval recess in the cover's mouth. You try to examine the book, but the longer you stare, the more those piercing amethyst eyes draw you in. You feel the darkness radiating from the book. It's delicious.
A cursed book? How obvious. Whoever opens it deserves the fate that befalls them.
Curious. Why don't you take a closer look? I'll observe from back here.
It does require a second piece, and that second piece is found in the same Blighted village within a well. It's not too far from where you found the book, and you'll eventually just investigate the well. You can try to toss a coin in there and find that there's no water in there, and then just descend downwards into it. There's a bunch of spiders in the well, and you don't have to fight them all though, as there's a giant queen spider all the way at the end, and it's a pretty tough battle. So what you can do is just avoid fighting the queen spider and just sneaking by her. It's best to separate your group and just send one person down there, as initially the first time I did it, as soon as I grabbed the gem, I just kept detecting my other companions. Eventually I was able to grab it, and then I just teleported out of there. I was kind of curious what this giant hole in the middle was, so I jumped inside of it. And if you don't have the spell that prevents fall damage, you'll just obviously die. If you do, it's another access route into the Underdark, which is a really tough level that you don't want to visit just yet. I remember going there on early access, and it's definitely meant for the later part of the game. So Astarion will mention that he wants the book, and if you give it to him, it'll gain some approval with him. I gave it to him, and he kind of just skimmed through it and said he'd put it away, and then I made him read it again through his inventory. So I think it'll have the same benefit if you read it on your main character or end up giving it to him. The benefit of being able to speak with the dead, and as well as getting a +1 to wisdom on your dice rolls.
Excellent.
You don't know what he read, but it had an effect. His eyes are hungry, but pained.
Well, quite the page turner. I'll get back to it when I have more time to focus.
You do have to pass 3 separate dice rolls in order to read the book, and it gains difficulty with every page that you turn. eventually closing shut after reading 3 pages. The book's quest doesn't end here though, as eventually further on in the game you can get someone else to access the 4th page. And that wraps up the video for all the neat items inside of the Blighted Village. If you liked the video and it helps you out, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.
You struggle to cling to scraps of what you know. Powerful necromancy, you're sure. But it darts away, leaving only hell's screams. The book snaps closed. You've seen too much. What profane knowledge is now seared inside of you should never have known.